There are a number of ways that the Sasquatch people, over my 10 plus years of being connected to them, have communicated with me. There's the classic mind speak where you hear a voice in your head, or thought placement where they put a thought in your head and then the answer is right there, right before your eyes, or soon afterwards, guiding you and nudging you to find things. The list goes on and on and on. One of the most interesting and unique ones for me is their stick writing, which is called glyphs. And it's a form of communication. And they have communicated with me personally with these glyphs for many years. Now, people have asked me over the years, what do these glyphs mean? And honestly, the answer I give to everyone who asks is the same. The meaning of the glyph is personal between you and the Sasquatch people who are connecting with you through them. Virtually a telepathic thing. Sometimes there's an instant knowing what they mean. Sometimes it's observation from seeing the same thing over and over again. The meaning is literally, and without question, I've proven it to myself, an arrangement, a verbal or a mental telepathic arrangement between you and them. And I'm going to do a short video showing you a few of the glyphs that I've run across, a few of the probably 20,000. I've got an extensive collection of them, and I'll expand on a couple and tell you a little bit about what they mean and what they represent. So here is my list of some of the glyphs, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to mention that at times the glyphs that they leave for me will represent a personal message, and at other times they will represent what they have actually observed me doing, and like a drawing of what they observed. And I will give you a classic explanation of both of them in this short video. Okay, glyph number one here is a really, really fine example of what I said about them imitating and drawing what they actually observed you doing. This glyph in particular happened with my wife, Susan, and I when we were camping. And basically we were sitting in front of our tent. It was dark out, and Sue heard something in the bush just off to our immediate left. And she heard heavy breathing from something substantial, something large. And I profess that my hearing is not the best, so I did not actually hear it. But she said, I think that is Fortuna, who is one of the clan members that we are both connected to and know well. And this is how it works with these kind of things. She just had that knowing that it was Fortuna. And I trust that because I've experienced that kind of thing many, many times. And that's kind of how it works. So she heard this heavy breathing in the bush to our left of, somewhat of substantial size, which he is. He's probably, well, at this point, he's probably 11, 12 feet tall. So, a being that big, you would hear them breathing. And that's exactly what Sue experienced. So we retired into our tent for the night. And the next morning I woke up and I found this glyph. And you can see that it's partially hidden behind a tree. And what it represents is a tent. You can see the tent. There's even a tent floor and the tent pegs. And inside the tent are two little sticks, which represent Susan and myself. And outside of the tent, To the right in this picture, but on the left in the actual incident, is a larger stick. And that represents Forshna. And he is exactly where he was situated when Sue heard him. Now, what else is really, really interesting about this is that on the roof there was a welcome axe, which is friendship welcome. That's what it means. That's my meaning. But there's also a Y. If you look at the stick that is at the 2 o'clock angle connected to the one that's at the 12 o'clock angle, it forms a Y. And my meaning for Y is man, Sasquatch connected. One prong is man, one prong is Sasquatch, and the main shaft is connected. And what's interesting and very revealing and proved a point that I knew anyway is that the Sasquatch people do not have the 3D linear understanding of time like we do. There is no time, in a sense, for them. The past, present, and the future can all be accessed in the present. And this Y glyph, like I said, means man, Sasquatch connected. But at the time that this incident occurred, I did not know what that Y stick meant, and I didn't put it together. I could see everything else in it, but I could not put it together. But when I came up with the meaning for the Y stick some years later, and this was actually literally years later, and I came up with the meaning for man, Sasquatch connected, they started communicating with me according to that meaning immediately. The very next day, as a matter of fact, and have ever since. But what is really fascinating is that, and I've proven this to myself countless times, what is really interesting is that they already knew years before I even formulated the idea and the thought that I was going to have that meaning. And as you can see, this glyph is a perfect drawing of what occurred that night with the tent and the participants, the friendship welcome X, and the man Sasquatch connected message. It all fits together perfectly and seamlessly. So that's the lesson that I learned from this picture, looking back on it and realizing that the Y was there. Initially, I didn't know what it meant, but can you see how it just fits so perfectly together with the message? Friendship welcome X and the man Sasquatch connected message. What it means is that we are family and we are connected to them. And there's love and friendship between us. And I realize that you kind of have to look at these abstractly. And I also have the benefit of seeing thousands upon thousands of these. So I know what I'm looking for, but I hope that you can see that. To me, it sticks out like a sore thumb, but yeah, these are amazing spiritual people. And this is a classic example of one of them, one individual, Forshna, drawing in his stick writing or glyph exactly what he saw that night that he was observing us. And also, not only what he saw, but leaving a message of friendship and connection. This next glyph is a classic confirmation of a message, and was found by my friend and I some years ago. As you can see, it's 3D and propped up in the sand. Once again, you have to look at this kind of abstractly. But what we see here is an A, the symbol A, which is actually the signature of my clan leader, RE. And with that A is an X. And in combination, it's a combo glyph. Got the clan leader's signature A and the X. And so what it means is friendship, welcome, from the clan of RE. And if you look to the left, you can see a little smaller version of it curved right into the main structure, the main body of the glyph, another XA. And, people will sometimes say, well, it just felt like that. Well, I'm sure that anybody watching this short presentation here can obviously see that this one in particular, and none of the ones that I've shown here, could have just fallen like that. Could they have been made by human beings? No, for a number of reasons. But I don't have time to get into that right now, but it's not practical from my point of view. So in any event, this glyph is a direct message, and like I said, it means friendship, welcome from the clan of RE. The A, his signature, the X, the friendship welcome. And so my friend and I were observing this, and all of a sudden, simultaneously, we felt some energy or whatever, and this happens a lot with us. We were just drawn to look over to our left into the bush, and we saw RE himself. And this is the first time I ever got an actual physical look at him. And the Sasquatch are interdimensional, and they can take many forms, such as orbs. I've seen them in the predator, shimmery, watery form. I've seen them materialize out of thin air. And this form was in a state that was just before fully materialized, but it was so close to it that I could see his bulk, his size. He was virtually materialized, but just a couple percentage points, I suppose you could say, away from it. And the reason I know that is because he is a big white fellow, 12'4", and he was black. But I could see his bulk. I could see the width of his shoulders that were, like a Mack truck. Just a huge, huge being. And the purpose of this was that he wanted me in particular to see this glyph and then see him, because he wanted me to know and verify the message in the glyph, which is friendship, welcome from the clan of RE. I knew that anyway, but seeing him watch me, observing the glyph and waiting for me to notice him, just confirmed that even more. It was a hammer over the head moment, so to speak. And as we watched him for a few brief seconds, all of a sudden, just like a phantom, he went across from left to right, no head bob, almost like he was on a conveyor belt, I want to say. It was really, really phantom-like. And he just went across our field of vision and then just dissipated into thin air. And this, like I said, is a classic example of a Sasquatch message. One of love, one of family, one of connection. And it's important to me because it was the first time I actually got a look at RE in person. And even though I knew the meaning of the glyph, I had no question whatsoever. His being there and confirming it just really brought it all home. So I appreciate you allowing me to share these findings with you, but I must remind you that this is just barely scratching the surface on a very rudimentary level. It's a very, very deep, complex, and fascinating subject that, I can't, in a few minutes of a video, I can't even really begin to do any kind of justice to it. But this is kind of just a very basic introduction to what I'm dealing with and, what glyphs mean to me. They are an actual direct conversation between the Sasquatch people and myself. And that alone is remarkable. So thank you very much for allowing me to share this. I am much and most appreciative.